You receive, and it continues to fill you and inspire you, and you wake up and there's more flowing and more flowing and more flowing and more flowing and more flowing. Not required, but it is inspired, and when it is, you will want to act. We do not know anyone who's in their physical bodies, who's tuned into this non-physical energy, who is not wanting to be more and more and more active. Think in terms of manifestation. Manifestation, and you might couple effort with that. Manifestation is a further leading edge. It's ready to be 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 ready. And then there's action, there's motion, there's interaction. There's action in almost everything that's delicious.
How do I rectify that with the wisdom or the teachings of, I've been in the business world for as long as I can remember, and you listen to Shark Tank where they're always talking about like how hard they had to grind to get to where they're at. And I can't meet a business person who's going to tell me, I got into the vortex and I'm inspired into action. It's very rare. I'm not saying it's not. And I'm not saying I don't believe you. Of course, this is how I've lived my life for years.
We do not know one successful being, and we know all of them, who didn't utilize this energy that creates worlds in their success.
They just don't understand it? Is that what you're saying? Or they don't know how to convey it? And
maybe it is that so many people are living a rather conditional life where they need someone to do some things of action. So they need to convince you that you need to be the actor in their dream. It's like someone saying to you, don't be selfish. And what they mean is, do my selfish bidding, not your own.
I'm not sure I understand that.
Well, then you're not trying very hard.
Is that your way of getting me to understand it?
Well, we can see how you might not be able to relate it to the other things that you were asking about. So here's how it works. Life causes you to ask for a lot of things, and over time you amass really a wonderful vibrational start to manifestations. And these manifestations, the knock on wood realized ones, are more satisfying than these vibrational, what you might want to call babies or fetuses even. But they are there just the same. This beginning of what you want is there. When you contemplate how much momentum you had coming into this physical body, and when you realize that you're really on the right track when you want to turn thoughts to things, because you are a manifesting genius. Now, we've been saying you are the creator of your own reality. Now we're going to say it to you in a way that, especially you right here and now with the questions that you're asking and the way you're wanting to dovetail the action part with the energy part. So we're going to say you are the creator of your own reality, and you are a master of manifestation. You are the creator of your own reality, and you are a master of earthly manifestation, because the manifestation out here, this is the leading edge. In other words, it's nice to have these thoughts about your vortex, but it is so much more to bring those thoughts forward where you can experience them with all of your physical senses. And so we're just going to say it. It's better to manifest your dreams than to dream them unmanifested. All right? You are a manifesting genius. You are a deliberate creator. And so these are the things that have been tripping people up for a very long time, because you don't really realize how much energy is involved. You only realize the action part of it. So our whole body of work is to help you to understand what comes before the action part. Most humans want to skip the action part. Most people want to stand in the absence of something they want and proclaim that they want it, but they don't want to be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready, and then they miss the most important part. They miss the joy of discovering that, and the joy of discovering that, and the joy of discovering that. They just want the mark on the chart for the big bucks that are in their bank account. They don't often want the clarity and the ingenuity and all of the stuff that comes to them along the way. But your inner being knows everything that's in your vortex. Do you know, in your vortex, you're not just asking for a pile of money or for a highly rated, successful company. You are asking for that, but not only for that. You're asking for clarity, and you're asking for intuition. You're asking for sensitivity. You're asking for love and harmony. You're asking for so many things. And so your inner being is going to lead you to your massive fortune. Yes, your inner being will. But your inner being is also going to lead you to your humanity, to your clarity, to your compassion, to your wholeness. In other words, your inner being is going to guide you to the whole of who you are, so that every step along the way is this savory, succulent, delicious, divine, meaningful manifestation on your way to more and more and more and more and more. And so many people just want to say, well, set your goal for money and get right there to the money, and that takes a lot of effort. And we want to say, hold everything. The effort that they're guiding you toward will prevent you from having the majority of what's in your vortex that you want. Yes, you want the money, but you want so much more. And you can have it all. And nothing less than having it all will be satisfactory to you. So where is your confusion? What is it that isn't jiving for you?
I think it's just mixed messages from many influences in my life.
Well, of course, there are so many influences around you, but we were talking about that earlier. Your inner being knows where you stand in relationship to everything that you want. And when you tune to that vibration, your inner being will guide you incrementally and precisely to every single thing that you want.
And when you're not feeling inspired, when your bank account is, something that can cause fear within you, you look at it and you're saying, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Well, keep looking at it and you'll hold yourself in that same vibration, and it can't get better. That's how you introduce resistance into it and slow your progress. In other words, you can't get around it. You cannot harbor negative emotion in response to what you're observing and get to where you want to be. It defies the laws of the universe. And anybody that tells you hard work while you've got fear will get you there is not explaining it the way it works. You could have fear and begin working hard, and you could be distracted from your fear. We're not saying that sometimes action doesn't cause you to feel better, and when you feel better, then you get better results. We're just wanting to show you the way you can use the leverage of non-physical to assist you. We are not saying that those teachers that teach those things are wrong. Often it is a misunderstanding. Sometimes people will say to us, Abraham, I went here, or I read this book, and I heard this and this and this. And what we always respond to is where they are in relationship to what they heard. We're not responding to what was originally written. We're responding to where they are in relationship to what they heard, you see. Esther, in the beginning, she would say to us, Abraham, why are they lying? Because she'd hear of other teachers that were saying things that weren't the things like Abraham was saying, and she'd come to trust what we were saying, and so she didn't like it when others were teaching a different method. Why are they teaching things that aren't going to work, or why are they saying that? And we said, if every student were in the same place, there could be one teacher teaching them all the same thing, but that's not how it is. So we think that what we've accomplished here today in terms of a new conversation, better than ever before, is that we want to help you to integrate that you are spiritual beings in a physical world, and that the physical world is an extension of your spirituality, and that your success in your physical world is success of your spirituality. They're not separate. So often people have been sort of teaching and believing, mostly through religion, that God is perfect and non-physical and somewhere else, and you are here being tested and tried in order to prove yourself so that you can be there. What it really is what man wants to call God, all that non-physical energy, is forward-looking with you right here and now. And your success is the success of that non-physical energy. So you're out here, a pioneer, defining the specifics of what you're reaching for and casting a vibrational creation of them, and the source within you is beholding what you've put there and is believing in what you're asking for and is knowing the validity of what you're asking for and knowing that you can get there and willing to show you all of the ways that you can get there, understanding what beliefs you have that are in your way and what beliefs that you have that aren't in your way, knowing what your path of most resistance is to get what you want, and knowing what your path of least resistance is. Sometimes your inner being will lead you to what feels like a problem to cause you to ask a big question that you need the answer to before you can answer the next. There's a whole sequence of things that you have to kind of understand. How often do you find yourself having been through something that you thought was troubling or unwanted, only to say, that's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it caused me to ask for something that I didn't know that I needed to ask for in order to get there. But anytime, this is the bottom line of everything that we're talking about, and this is the big difference that we want to state unequivocally between so much that is being taught out there. Hard work and struggle does not lead you to alignment, and if you are not being led to alignment, you are not being led to the success that you are seeking. We don't know of anything that you're looking for, nothing that anyone wants or ever has wanted or ever will want, whether it's a material object or a pile of money or a relationship or a circumstance or an event or an empire. There's nothing that anyone wants that is for any other reason than they believe they will feel better in the having of it. You are looking for the satisfaction of that. And if you will just let satisfaction take a more prominent role in what you're reaching for moment by moment, segment by segment, day by day, you'll click in to this ease and flow and legacy and blessedness. You'll click in to a pattern of help from the universe that will transform you into someone who loves yourself enough to not believe that suffering is the key. And when you let go of that, when you let go of that bogus taught by others who in some way benefited by your suffering, then you're free from circumstances that bind you. And then you're the uplifter that you were born to be. And then you're the teacher that you were born to be. And then you are the example of living happily ever that you were born to be. We know it's a big stream. There's a big stream that says struggle is good for you. Struggle is good for all of us. But it isn't. It is an anomaly to who you are. Every thought within every particle of the universe, there is wanted and unwanted, or wanted and absence of wanted. And in struggle, there is discomfort, which means you're on the opposite end of the stick. And that really is the best way we can say you cannot get there from there. So a lot of times, because you're fast with your mind, you'll think a thought that feels pretty good and a thought that feels bad and a thought that feels good and a thought that feels bad, and you don't really know which end is up. It's only when you consistently think the better feeling thoughts that you connect with this energy and really get that leverage going. Until you've meditated and connected to this source energy and received an idea and knew you received it, and then followed through on that idea and watched what happened and feel the explosion of the non-physical energies rejoicing with you in your motion forward, until you have that experience consistently, then effort's going to sound like a pretty good idea if you want to move that heavy thing over there. But once you connect to this consciousness and you watch the cooperative components that are all lined up for you, then all that contradiction goes away. We're appreciating this conversation a lot because you bring to this forum what a lot of people are feeling. As you see, we know that we're over time. We want to say this because we really want you to get this. You're physical beings in physical bodies, but you are so much more than that. You are non-physical energy. And so here you are. You've adapted to your physicality. Now we're trying to get you to adapt back to your non-physicality. We want you to adapt back to your non-physicality so that you can enjoy your physicality. And you say, wait, we're physical. We're physical, we're action, and we work hard. And we say, yes, we know you do, but it doesn't need to be that way. You are non-physical energy that have a leverage that you are not engaging. And if you will just try it. And so much of your world stands around and catalogs and pigeonholes the behavior of each other. And you say, those hard workers, we give them the label of good. And those people that are not hardworking, we give them the label of bad. And we say, we don't want you to label yourself based on your action. We want you to evaluate where the action is inspired from And if the action is inspired from alignment, then it's going to be joyful action. It's going to be productive action. It's going to be big action. It's going to be world-changing action. But if your action is inspired from your lack of trust in yourself, or from your comparison with others, or with your belief that it just takes hard work in order to get your mark on the chart, then that's mediocre action and it doesn't serve you. And you know how you can tell if something's serving you? It's fun now. It feels good now. It's satisfying. Maybe if we use the word satisfying rather than fun, it would be more palatable to you.